Matt, good morning, man.
Good morning, boss. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm hanging in there, man. 92.7 QLZ here in your hometown of Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on here with y'all, man. This is the first time anybody's ever asked to interview me, I think, from Springfield.
Well, that's sad, man, because I was going through the list of fighters, and somebody had mentioned that you're from here. I'm like, well, why aren't we not talking to him?
Oh, well, I appreciate you guys remembering.
Oh, man, of course. How could we forget, man? One of our mighty proud ones. You graduated from Sacred Heart Griffin there. And to kick things off, man, I was reading you when you were in high school, you played a variety of sports. You even went to the NFL. But what led you to do MMA fighting and to the UFC?
Well, first of all, I actually graduated from Southeast High School. I went to Griffin for a number of years, but I screwed up academically, and then I ended up graduating from Southeast.
My
just
apologies.
As a correction. I had to give Southeast to do there. And then as far as me ending up in the UFC, when I got finished with the NFL, I started up a sports nutrition company called Eden, which is engineered and designed nutrition. And we're doing relatively well. We're in 20-something Division I universities on a trial basis and some other things. And Jason Worth, who I knew from home but didn't know when I was growing up, I met him later in life. We ended up touching base and talking a little bit, and he was using the product, and he liked it. And then he asked me to jump on an amateur MMA show that he was putting on. And I had never trained MMA in my life. And I was like, well, what the hell? Might as well do it. And it sounds like something I'm not doing anything athletic anyways right now. So I decided to do it, but I got hurt and missed his show. But then about 6 months later, I was on a TV show called Ultimate Fighter, and I've been in the UFC ever since. So I owe my current career and success and financial windfall to Jason Worth.
So how did you get involved in the Ultimate Fighter? Did you have to put in like an audition tape or something like that?
They got in touch with me. They kind of, hey, we hear you're an ex-NFL lineman who's got one hell of a mouthpiece on him and is pretty athletic, blah, blah, blah. So go ahead and make an audition video, and if we like it, we'll fly you out to Vegas. So I made this awesome video, and I wish that we had some form of it somewhere. Like, we can't find it anywhere. But dude, this video was absolutely hysterical. It was self-deprecating, and it was awesome. It was such a good video. And we shipped it off, and then they called up and said, yeah, absolutely, we're going to bring you out to Vegas. So they brought me out to Vegas and had a meeting with the producers of Spike TV and whoever else, and it was actually a really fun meeting. The guy who pretty much like runs Spike Television, he's the head producer there. He kept like interjecting and interrupting the questions and the kind of interrogations, and just kind of seeing what kind of rides he could get out of you. And we had a fun interview. It was quite a trip, actually.
That's really an interesting story, talking with Matt Mitrione, 92.7 QLZ. This Friday is going to be your 11th fight on UFC Fight Night, if I believe correctly.
It will be my 11th fight, but it's scheduled. It should be my 12th, but my last fight got canceled. But yeah.
All right. Well, in the time that you've since started with the UFC, with Ultimate Fighter, to now with this fight on Friday night against Derrick Lewis, how much has changed for you as a fighter, or even the fighting game as a whole?
Well, financially things have changed. Like the sponsorship game is different. The social atmosphere of the fighting arena is different. There's the game itself, the fight game itself, was a little bit behind the PC wagon, or behind the PC tidal wave. And so now it's finally kind of caught up, and so that's a little bit of a different situation, because when I first got in, it was almost like the Wild West, and now it's pretty much caught up on a lot of different levels. So that's a little bit different because the fight game itself has matured. But really, I think that it just the small parts. The professionalism of the UFC has increased. There's a lot of things that they do now that they didn't used to do that is a little bit is a better look for the fighters. So for example, of giving some insurance and making sure that a lot more things are handled. The athletic commissions are a little bit more official. So the sport has been recognized more, and I think there's more development and growth that you can see on a regular basis. But for the most part, the sport has remained unchanged. Just things around the sport have modified.
Like I mentioned before, you're facing Derrick Lewis Friday night, UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1, 8 o'clock local time here in Springfield. Your last fight was supposed to be against Stefan Struve, but it got canceled the night of the fight, and I believe you were warming up. So what was your reaction to it being canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled about an hour before the fight, which means that we're just starting to warm up. I'm already have my hands wrapped and my gloves are taped on. But my reaction was a little bit of disbelief at first. But then actually, unbeknownst to me, they were recording it. They had a camera crew with them, and I didn't realize that at the time. But I was a little bit in disbelief, and then I immediately was worried about my opponent, and he apparently had a couple of panic attacks, and we didn't really know what was going on with him. And so, my first, incredulously, I was like, no way, blah, 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 with a couple other choice expletives thrown in there. And then, I was like, well, can I go see Struve? Can I go check on him? So I went back and went next door and checked on him, and he was pretty upset. But, he's a human being, and he's a friend of mine, and even though I was going to have to fight him, it was one of the worst times of his life, one of the worst moments of his life. And we just consoled him as a friend, like, hey, dude, don't sweat it. Just get your heart figured out and whatever else. And that's kind of what it was. And like I said, unbeknownst to me, that was caught on film.
So when you found out it was on film, what was your reaction to that?
I actually found out it was on film 2 days ago. It's on, if you go to, I believe, UFC.com, you'll see Dana White's vlogs, video blogs. And he has a UFC, a vlog for UFC 177. And it actually goes back to UFC 175, which is the one that I was supposed to fight on. And I'm one of the first, I'm one of the initial scenes on the video blog. And then later, right after me, there's another guy that broke one of his toes badly in the fight from a kick. And they're actually resetting his toe. And you can see, watching the pain and anguish this kid is going through is really gut-wrenching. So it's actually a really interesting a spectacle to lay your eyes on. It's pretty much a trip.
I shivered as you said that. But I'll probably end up going to watch it just because, like you said, it's interesting.
To be honest with you, it's almost must-see TV because, you see he did a great job. He actually kept kicking with his leg after he broke his toes, which people think, just a toe, right? But his thing was compound fractured and gross, and they had to reset it and you can just feel it in your gut, but it's pretty intense for sure.
So as you're preparing for this fight Friday night, you had about 2 months' time. Is that actually in the MMA game enough time to train for a fighter?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. 2 months, 8 weeks is a full camp. And to be honest with you, I was in great shape from the Struve fight, from preparation for it. So going directly from one fight to the other is awesome for me because first of all, I get paid every time I'm fighting, so I feel great, and I love getting paid. But even better than that, this is a different challenge. It's different than Struve, and it's exciting. The kid has a little bit of a wave to him, as far as momentum and a little bit of a name trying to get built. And I'm excited to squash it. I'm excited to go in there and put hands on him, put my shins on him, and completely crumble what he's trying to build.
Talking with Springfield native Matt Mitrione, 92.7 QLZ. You're fighting this Friday against Derrick Lewis, UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1. According to UFC.com, you're the odds-on favorite for the fight. Do you actually pay attention to that type of stuff?
To be honest with you, I couldn't care less what the odds makers or bookies or whoever else think about how I'm going to do or what I'm going to do. It doesn't make a difference. I'm sure for Derrick, it's probably motivation that he's an underdog. But for me, it doesn't matter if I'm an underdog. Hell, to be honest with you, I wish I probably were an underdog so that way that people that bet on me make more money. I'd love for people that bet on me to be able to pay their mortgage and for people that bet on him to lose their rent money.
Always thinking about somebody else, brother.
That's what I do, brother.
You can follow Matt Mitrione on Twitter, @MattMitrione. I was checking out a couple of your tweets. In one particular post, you had a picture of 5 guys next to your gate as you're on your way out to the fight. Is that your typical post-fight meal or snack, whatever you want to call it? And if not, what is your typical post-fight splurge, if you will say?
To be completely honest with you, dude, I'm a chocoholic. I love chocolate. So, as soon as I'm done, I'll grab something because I don't really eat very much on fight day. So I'll grab some kind of chocolate somewhere, and then I'll start jumping into White Russians. But they're going to be made with a little bit of Frangelico, just for a little bit of flavor, and vanilla Stoli. That's my first treat.
Do you know what's coming up next for you after this fight? You got another one lined up? You're taking time off?
I'm going to go home and spend time with my babies. That's the one thing I was going to refer to earlier, is that the worst thing about having back-to-back camps, literally back-to-back, is that instead of having the time I planned on having with my family, I had to dive directly back into working. And when you're working, you're getting beat up, you're pushing quite a bit, so you're moody and you're a little bit grumpy at times, and you don't get the time that you want to spend with your family. So I have a lot of family time planned up, and my wife has to leave and go on a couple of business trips, so she's going to be gone for most of the month of September. So I'm going to be home with my babies chilling, so it'll be all right.
Well, that's cool. Nothing bad about family time. I actually saw on your Twitter as well, your boys there practicing their kicks. Are you training them for MMA?
It's first of all, no. My kids will never be fighters. My kids are. I married an Asian woman who's highly intelligent, much more intelligent than I am. So my kids have brains I don't have to worry about. So they're not going to get punched in the face or run their heads into other people full speed. They want to be scientists when they grow up, and that's good with me.
Well, awesome, brother. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time this morning to talk with us here in your hometown of Springfield. Look forward to the fight on Friday night, and anytime you're in town, man, please swing on by the studio. We'd be glad to have you here and jump on air with me.
Thanks, boss. I really appreciate it, man, and I will. I'll take you up on that.
UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1 this Friday. Matt Mitrione taking on Derrick Lewis. The fights kick off 8 o'clock here Central Time. All the details at UFC.com. The full interview with Matt you can check out again over at WQLZ.com.